live button. I've clicked the go live button. I have the overlay up, though I think people can still hear me on the overlay because I haven't messed with my mic settings, so I think my mic is like hot on the overlay. Hey, how's it going, everyone? If you probably hear me on the overlay. Yeah, that's what I figured. Sweet. Well, let's transition from the overlay to this, and then get everyone actually on screen. There we go.
Go.
How's it going, everyone?
Nice and smooth.
This is the true Living Legends authentic experience. This is how we start every episode.
Yeah.
Or it's like,
this is true.
Complete shambles.
Are we recording?
Oh,
we're recording.
Shambles.
Oh, hello.
Oh, we are fantastic. Yeah, just roll straight into it. Lovely old job.
Exactly.
Here we are, baby, live for you all to see the debauchery of what happens behind the scenes.
Yeah.
It always reminds me of my friend who's a musician who loved starting his songs with like lines like "and" at the start of a song.
Yeah.
Sure.
So you're
Wow.
like, what?
So you
Something
can just go
came
straight
before.
into it.
What's going on? Yeah.
Let me swap
Yeah, we are live. Fantastic.
top chat to live chat, because that's a thing. And yeah, so how's it going, everyone? And welcome to the Living Legends holiday live stream for 2023. Or perhaps if you're one of the audio only listeners listening to this the day back, well, welcome as well.
Absolutely.
Today we're just going to be hanging out and chatting all things Flesh and Blood 2023. And it's going to be very loose. It's just, like I said, it's just our holiday live stream. I have like a loose docket of topics to talk about, but mostly we're just going to be hanging out, chilling. Oh, Az and I are going to be giving away some stuff, I think, as we announced in our previous live stream. I have one of these extra Good Deeds promos. So I think what I'm going to do later is we're going to do trivia. I'm going to ask a question to the audience, and the first person to answer it correctly gets the thing. So yeah.
Okay.
Sweet.
Nice.
That sounds fun.
Yeah, so we could do a live thing for people that are in the chat, but for audio listeners as well, I could also chuck something in which is audio only potentially for people listening back.
Yeah.
But we'll figure that out on the fly as to what that could be based on where the
Should
conversation
do like
goes.
an audio-only charades game.
Sure.
Yeah,
Just
we could
first person, you have to prove that you're not watching it, but also
Yeah.
work out what we're doing without any words.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. That'll be hard. Yeah, so the person who's listening to it back could actually have a scoop because they're watching it now silently and they don't realize.
Oh yes, the silent scoop.
Silent scoop.
Yeah,
That's what we call it.
yeah. And we'll probably have
ice
a.
cream. Anyway.
It would be a good name for an ice cream company, right? The Silent Scoop.
Silent scoop. Yeah.
Yeah, and then you have like you have kind of like this newspaper theme as well.
Yeah.
Like you're like a tabloid theme. The Silent Scoop.
It's like in the UK, you used to get fish and chips served in a newspaper. But it'd be like that, but ice cream.
Yeah, same here. Same here.
Oh, do you?
Yeah.
They still do that in some places here in the US.
Ah, really?
Yeah.
Nice.
They don't do it here anymore because newspapers aren't really a thing. Like
That's
still gets wrapped in newspaper, but it's not like printed newspaper. It's like just the plain paper now that they buy.
Physical media. What's that?
I was just like, is it like fake newspaper with like fake headlines and fake and like
there used to be a particular fish and chip sort of middle of the road dining place that did that because they would bring out the fish and chips in a basket and it'd have like newspaper in the basket, but it'd all be like printed, with stuff about their restaurant and stuff. So
Nice.
Yeah,
hilarious.
like themed for the restaurant specifically.
Exactly.
Yeah, we have a place like that at a place called The Forks, which is like just a hub for a bunch of restaurants and stuff.
Yeah.
What is that place called? I'm gonna look it up because it's gonna bother me. But
Like a food court, is
Yeah.
it? Where loads of different things. Oh, okay. Yeah.
we have one of those
Fergie's fish and chips.
Fergies.
Fergie's.
Yeah, we have
do they do mushy peas? That's what we need to know, right? Az
Mushy peas, yeah. Do they
I
have
don't
it?
think we have mushy peas anywhere in North America. But
I mean,
Yeah.
I think they're banned for being weird, but you know,
Yeah,
that's
strange.
I would rather have mushy peas any day of the week over like jellied eels. Like,
Yeah, I don't understand the hype with that. Jelly deals. I've never had those.
That one's fair.
like
You can
grilled.
Yeah, I'd
eel?
rather have mushy peas over grits.
Oh yeah.
Grits.
I don't get the American
grits.
obsession with grits.
What's grits again? Grits?
It's basically oatmeal that's made in melted butter.
Isn't it oatmeal but like savory?
Yeah. Like
Yeah.
instead of being made with water or milk or something, it's basically made with freaking melted butter.
Huh.
Oh.
At least that is what it was like when I had it the one time I was in the States, because I did that thing of like, oh, I've heard of this in a movie. It must be worth trying once.
I mean,
No.
I eat oatmeal semi-regularly. I don't eat grits though. I just
Oatmeal's great.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oatmeal's awesome.
I do like cinnamon oatmeal with like just milk. Yeah, it's good.
Mm-hmm.
Also, this is
just
classic
for
Living Legends.
this is literally classic Living Legends.
This is the conversation before we actually start recording. So apologies for everybody who's listening to this.
Yeah.
In the future.
I'm leaving it in the audio. Well, they're getting the true live experience for sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sounds good to me.
I will say you don't get mushy peas at Fergie's, but you can get, and this is just on their main menu, a deep fried Mars bar. So,
Sure.
There you go.
Yeah, baby.
Yeah. Why not? Sure. So
Quite Scottish. They love to deep fry it.
Mm-hmm. Deep fried haggis.
Ugh.
Oh, jeez.
I don't know about that.
They deep fry pizza as well, which is the one that I could never get over. That's insane.
I'd try it. I'd try some deep fried pizza. Sure.
Yeah. So what they do is that they get the slice of pizza, they put it in the batter that they normally put the fish in for fish and chips, and then they deep fry it.
I mean,
amazing.
Beer battered pizza.
It's amazing. Yeah, amazing that anyone survives past the age of 35 in Scotland.
it really sounds like I would have to run to the bathroom like 10 minutes after eating it, but you know, I'd try it. Yeah.
That's why Scotland doesn't have any battle hardens, because they're battle hardened already.
Sure, yeah. All right. Well,
anyway, Flesh and Blood.
Yeah.
There's a Flesh and Blood segue for you.
There you go. So, yeah, sure. Let's talk about Flesh and Blood, because this is a Flesh and Blood podcast, right?
Certainly is.
So I do have like a little like list of topics we can chat about, and they'll have to do with like a more or less like a recap of the year. So we're talking about our favorite whatevers of the year. We're not going to do our top cards of the year, just because I think we're going to do that in a whole episode entirely, maybe next week.
Yeah.
Sounds
good.
But so this one, let's talk about some other stuff. So let's be more general. So let's talk about and I'm very curious to see if we actually differ on some of these opinions, because I have a feeling we might be the same. But let's talk about our favorite set of the year. And I'm going to include the Round the Table product in this as a set. I guess we could say, what's your favorite release of the year? I think that's a better way to frame it.
Product of the year.
Yeah.
Product of the year.
So let's talk about our favorite release, Flesh and Blood release of the year. So to recap that for everyone, that will include Outsiders, Dusk Till Dawn, Bright Lights, Round the Table, and I suppose you can include the Outsiders starter decks, the Blitz starter decks, and the History Pack 1 Blitz decks as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, sounds good. I can potentially start with this actually. First of all, thanks to Abby's Maid. Happy holidays all. Psyched to be here with you. Thank you very much. Breezy. Yo, I've missed so many of these. Happy to catch this one. Cheers for being here. Ooh. And then Kevin as well just turned up saying hello. So I just thought I'd shout out the chat as well quickly before I ramble on about my favorite set.
Yeah, before you do, I guess we can involve a little bit of chat in this as well, though the audio only people won't be able to do this. Well, maybe you can to yourself. Chat, let us know your answers to the questions that we are posing as well. It'll be a fun discussion, so everyone can kind of talk about it and see. So
yeah.
To recap again, this question is, what is your favorite Flesh and Blood release of the year? And that's just all product releases, not just the booster sets. So that includes starter decks and the Round the Table product. Also, hello, Chris.
Definitely. Yeah, thanks for coming on to the stream the other day as well when we were playing some Highlander games.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I was actually. It's funny because the Speedy Awards was done recently, and Flake reached out to me and said, "Do you want to introduce what the sort of community vote was for the best set of the year?" So I said, I read out the thing and said the best set of the year, as voted by the community, was Outsiders, and I was absolutely in agreement that Outsiders was the best set of the year. Personally, for me, because it involved a lot of Ranger support, so obviously it was going to be one of my favourites, if not my favourites ever, so far, apart from Arcane Rising. But yeah, I would say Outsiders was my favourite personally, just because of the fact it sort of made Azalea good, and that's always a good thing. So praise be to the cult for finally getting some good cards. Codex of Frailty was one of the good ones that might appear on a future list from the Living Legends podcast.
Wait, is that card good? I don't know. I didn't read it.
Yes, it's pretty good. Yeah, it's all right. Yeah, it's pretty good.
I've never read a Flesh and Blood card before, and I'm not intending to start now.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'll throw it over to Bill. What's your favorite, mate, this year? Favorite release?
That it's kind of tough, honestly. I mean, I do really like Outsiders. I'm a big fan of Dusk Till Dawn as well. Just from a Marvel standpoint, like the cards that I'm thinking of that made the most impact to me, at least, were just the Marvels that they decided to print in these. And obviously, I loved Outsiders for, like you said, Codex of Frailty. The 3 codexes, all done by Carlos Cruchaga, which shout out, fantastic, phenomenal artist. I love the treatment on all 3 of them. They look phenomenal. I love all of the angels in Dusk Till Dawn. They just look insane. And then honestly, just for a proof of concept as well as just a good rollout, I do really like Round the Table as well, because I think that it's LSS proving that they're willing to make things accessible and well balanced and fun, like just a thing that you can bring to an event and have it be like similar to a board game and just be like, I will briefly explain how this works, but most of it is just like kind of explains itself.
Shout out to your video as well of the product of doing that, because that was hilarious. I love that.
Thank you. Yeah, that one was a lot of fun to put together. And obviously, yeah, it's one of those things that scales with the group that you have as well. Like, it becomes much more fun if you have fun people to play it with, which is kind of a nice sort of positive feedback loop. But if I really had to pick one to be my favorite thing, it would probably be Outsiders as well. I think Outsiders was just done so unbelievably well. I love the assassin class. At least in theory, I haven't like played assassin all that much, but I just love the flavor behind it. I love mostly the Marvels. I think that they're really good, and I like the power level of the legendaries that they decided to start putting in effective Outsiders, where they're cards that are good but not like overwhelmingly like mandatory for the decks that they're good in. Like comparing it to something like Phantasmal Footsteps, which is just the feat that you need to play if you're playing Illusionist. Like you could play a reasonable assassin deck without Flick Knives. I think that that's like just a good sort of a good thing that they started to do design wise, and I really appreciated it.
You say that now, but we have a brute set coming up, and there's Scowling Fleshbag, so we'll see.
Yeah.
I'm going to call that's going to appear on Bill's list for the year, top cards.
To note, Scowling Fleshbag, obviously not in Outsiders, but subsequent, Bill was talking about like the design of...
The design of Legendary.
Yeah.
That's it's funny that you mentioned that, because somebody locally, we were in our just local Winnipeg Discord, we were talking about just the design of brute cards moving forward anyway, with heavy hitters on the horizon. And they mentioned that, especially in Blitz, Intimidate is an awful mechanic offensively, because it feels so crushing to be on the other side of. But defensively, Intimidate is actually like really interesting.
I agree.
And I think it makes your opponent like actually think about what they have to do. And it does have sort of at least a little bit of variance to it, where if your opponent decides to attack you with a full hand, it might just blank the rest of their turn. So yeah, like I have mentioned this multiple times, but Scowling Fleshbag is one of my favorite designed cards in the game. I think that the design of it is so elegant, and it's on par with Mask of Momentum. Like I love it, and I'd love to see more implementations of a defensive, like brute defensive options.
Bill,
I think that
just a
It's also
fan
a
of
super
hats.
good looking card as well.
it's so cool.
Yeah.
Bill.
Before
The
we,
takeaway is Bill just really likes hats. Just really like
I
all
love
hats.
hats, man.
I was just going to say
Yeah.
before we throw it over to Iain, there's been a lot of innovative things this year as well. Like obviously, Outsiders was like the standard sort of draft sort of thing, but then we also had the supplementary set being a themed supplementary set around sort of Monarch and Light and Shadow, and then we had Bright Lights, which was the first set to only feature one class as well. So it's been quite a strange year with regards to product releases. But I just thought I'd throw that in there before we move on to Ian's favourite.
Yeah.
I agree though.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with you. Like they've done a lot of cool stuff this year, and I think it's really been a year of trying stuff for them.
Yeah.
And which when you think about it, that it's quite a big thing that they've done, because they've tried something with every release this year. Instead of going like, which is a bit different, and then we'll return back to what it was that we were doing before. Like everything has been something different, and this is one of the things that I actually really love about preview season and stuff for these sets as well, because you start to learn. You're like, well, everything I thought was
Anything could happen.
mandatory
exactly.
for a set, it goes out the window. I remember the first time we went from 4 heroes to 3 heroes. And people are like, oh, what? And now, we're getting 6 heroes in 6 heroes in heavy hitters that said, which is crazy. So yeah, kudos to LSS for constantly trying stuff. Whether or not it hits, you're never going to know if you don't try it. I mean, I'm not the hugest fan of Mechanologists, but the thing I love about Bright Lights is Crack Shuffle Play. I think Crack Shuffle Play is one of the most fun ways I've played Fab this year. While it's not my favorite set, because I'm not, as I said, not a huge Mechanologist fan, like the amount of times that I've been, you get to an armory early and it's just you and one other person, and you were like, hey, should we just grab 3 packs and play a game? It's been really cool, and I think that's a really cool thing that came out of Bright Lights. But for me, really, there's only one answer for best thing that came out this year. I'm a little biased because I got to do some early play testing with the round table, and I also got to one of my ideas that came from the playtesting got put into the final product. So that's
Nice.
a super proud moment for me. For those that don't know, I did some early testing once they'd had the product somewhat thought out. I was in a group of playtesters that were non-devs. That had nothing to do with the designing. They just gave us the thing and went, here, go for it. Tell us what you think. And in fact, there's a little Easter egg in a Living Legends podcast earlier in the year that I was on. In our week in Fab, you guys asked me what I did, and I said, I got to play a Bard game, and you guys just all assumed I was talking about Yorick.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
So
Yeah.
way back in like March, I actually Easter egged Living Legends for the round table.
Brilliant.
So
Need to
there
go
you
back and listen to
go.
that now.
That's very
Go back and
cool.
listen to it. You were trolling the whole
But
time.
yeah, so my claim to fame is my claim to fame is that I got the second line of Melody's weapon put in, of the you can attack with this once, and if it hits, it gets destroyed.
That's
Which
that's a
it's
line
very,
that
very
people refer to a lot, like in terms of just
Yeah,
being
yeah.
super flavorful. So
To be
hell
fair,
yeah.
at the time, it wasn't they again because it was playtesting. It wasn't a fiddle at the time. I think we were just using a lute as the thing, and so in my mind, it was very honky tonk man Jeff Jarrett is wrestling flavor of you play the song until it's time to hit someone over the head with the guitar
Nice.
or your instrument, and I think they've done a really nice flavor with it too, that it has to hit for it to be destroyed. So I really like the fact that you can actually just bust spectra auras with Melody's weapon, and it doesn't destroy itself. It's just you just see Melody like swiping at fake angels,
threatening
which
an
I think is
ALS with it.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. Brilliant.
Yeah. So so yeah, that as I said, I am biased, but I also think it's a great product. I love that we got Professor involved with it. I think that is a perfect collaboration to bring it out. And yeah, I was really happy with all three of the new heroes, and I think having Ira as the iconic learn to play character was a really smart idea for the fourth include in it. So yeah, that is easily my favorite product of the year. And now I just need Dragon Shield to make me Melody sleeves, please.
I mean, they have them. I have them right here.
No, make me Melody. Yeah, you have them. I don't have them.
Yeah, I have these. I actually don't know when these are coming out. They just sent them to me without telling me. So I'm just like, oh, cool. I don't know when they're coming out. I assume they're coming out with the Kasai sleeves, which are probably coming out alongside of heavy hitters. So that's my assumption. But yeah,
could be
nice. Before I tell
you, how about you?
Before I go through mine, in the chat we have one person, Ryan, saying Outsiders. We have Abismald saying Round the Table, and Chris saying Dusk Till Dawn. So we have a pretty even spread in chat. Here on the podcast, we have Outsiders, and Round the Table. And I'll be honest, my choices are between those two because... So Round the Table, I think, is Flesh and Blood's best pre-constructed product to date. I think it is incredibly good on many, many levels. The price point's really good. The gameplay experience is really good. The fact that the decks come with full play sets and not just kind of one-off Majestics is also very, very good. It feels like actually a complete package. It feels like a complete product, which is awesome. And then Outsiders is not only my favorite Flesh and Blood set of all time, it might just be one of my favorite trading card game sets of all time. Just period, across all card games. And people who know me know that I play a lot of card games. I'm currently mainlining 3, but I've played a lot more than that. So it says a lot. And then also I had some fun personal stuff to do with Outsiders. I spoiled Uzuri, and then I did the skirmish season videos. And I had two people here who were guests for that, as Bill and then DM Ramada. And so yeah, I'm gonna say Outsiders. I think it's pretty clear, but I don't want to understate how good I think Round the Table is. I think Round the Table's a brilliant product. I think it's super, super great. But it's really hard to beat Outsiders for me. It's just kind of my favorite set on a lot of levels. It's really, really fun to play Draft. I really love all 3 of the main classes in it. I love that there's 6 different heroes in the set. And any sort of minor disappointment that I might have had with Outsiders not having a talent, because I was oh, Pitts, I want to see the Pitts talent, is totally gone by just how great the set is. I don't even care that there's no talent. So I think Outsiders is just, I think it's actually objectively speaking, I think it might be one of their Flesh and Blood's best sets ever, other than maybe next to Welcome to Wraith. Outsiders is just so good. So that's my pick. Outsiders.
Yeah, definitely a good pick.
And
I think
solid one. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think the way that Heavy Hitters is lining up might be trying to deliver that same sort of experience as well, with the dual class thing and the fact that it's not talented as such. That looks like they're trying to emulate that, or had it in the pipeline before. I don't know how long these things happen. But is it obviously a clear sort of parallel between this next set and what was Outsiders and rightly received as the community's favourite so far? So it'll be interesting to see how that delivers when it comes.
Yeah, oddly enough, Heavy Hitters feels like a less, I don't want to say, how do I put this? I was going to say less competitive version of Outsiders, because there's a lot of like gambling. It's not random exactly, but there's a lot of like wagers and all this kind of stuff going on with it. So it just feels kind of like less, nuts and bolts kind of gameplay, but more like,
the mechanics feel like the mechanics of the what's in it. They seem like more isolated within that experience of Heavy Hitters rather than the meta at large. So I think when you're playing sealed or draft, which is why there's going to be a load of callings coming up with the fact it's sealed, I think the mechanics contained within that are going to be fantastic to play against each other in that environment. So I'm very much looking forward to doing that, like wagering with people, and the fact that everyone's going to be hitting big attacks and stuff is going to be interesting. And yeah, I can't wait to delve into it.
I'm just sitting here smiling as a brute. I'm like, we've been gambling since 2019, baby.
Yeah, but everyone gets to gamble now.
Yeah, that's right.
Do you think, Ian, we haven't seen any yet? We haven't seen very many brute cards at all. Do you think they're going to reintroduce like dice rolling as like a core mechanic, or are they just going to stick with like a wager kind of deal?
Ooh.
I don't know. I feel like the wager is something they're definitely leaning into with the set, because obviously we've seen it on both the Guardian and Warrior. Also, I feel like the wager is the thematic, because you're in an arena. It's the clash. It's the challenge. So whether or not they have some dice rolling for brute, possibly, maybe, but I mean, obviously we'll still have probably random discard sixes and stuff like that, because that is like a core tenet of brute stuff. So that gets you some RNG. I don't know if you're gonna have gambling dice rolling and I mean, if it was a casino as opposed to an arena, maybe.
Not the casino. Never again.
An actual literal just Caesar's palace set.
Literally Caesar.
I mean,
there are some
they do have those like
new class
Greco pillars, some of the characters borders.
They do, yeah. I think the Olympia character, which was just spoiled, that's a Greek reference, isn't it? Is it Greek god Olympia? I think. Yeah, I'm not sure.
Well, there's the Olympiad, the Olympics,
Mount
Olympus.
Mount Olympus.
Of course,
those are all Greek.
Yeah.
But, yeah. I mean, you only really have two options. It's like Greek or Roman, and the Romans stole everything from the Greeks, so
pretty much. That's right.
I am happy that we know one of the other heroes now, because I'm just excited to see what they all do.
What?
And excited to see
know
if
3 heroes now, right?
We know 3. Yeah. But
like,
we know
we're getting closer.
What's interesting is we actually know both of the warriors. So there's definitely going to be 2 of each class. We know one of the Guardians, but we know no brutes, but both warriors. So we have Kasai and Olympia. And Olympia is definitely like, he's got the wager synergy kind of stuff going on. Same with Betsy. She's got the wager stuff going on. But Kasai is more, I don't say generic, but she's more, like warrior-y. She feels like she's operating more in terms of like the warrior stuff. But she still cares about money. Still cares about money.
I feel like in the little bit of snippet of the lore that we've got in the videos and stuff, that explains it. Like it feels like Betsy, maybe Olympia, are more there as like gladiators in arena type thing, whereas Kasai is there to get the money to raise an army, which is what we've seen. And so I'm, as much as I'm excited for brute cards, I just can't wait to see the lore for the set. I think the lore is going to be really cool. And just getting because like I understand like Guardians and Warriors may have chosen to be there, like Kasai has chosen to be there to raise money, whereas I'm really interested to know whether or not like the brutes that are in there have been like sort of caught and thrown into it, like sort of like Hulk in World War Hulk, or whether or not that there's a smarter warrior brute that's like, you know what? Let's I'm already bigger than these guys. I can make some money, which would be cool.
I talked about this in comments of an older video like a couple weeks ago, but my thought was that if Reinar is there, he's only there, doesn't care about the money. He's only there to prove he's the strongest. That was my like headcanon theory why Reinar would be there. And he would be like, he heard that there's a lot of strong people gathering in one spot, and he's just like, I'm the strongest. I'm gonna prove it. And then he's just gonna go there and just try to kill people.
Well, that's what I want to know though. Like, is it that he has gone there to prove it, or did somehow he get caught, get split from his pack, and it took nine men to drag him into the pit, and it is like the Hulk Battle World World War Hulk storyline where he's just turns into like he gets there and just like becomes the gladiator, becomes the champ because he's that much more brutal than everyone else.
I think there's a reason they haven't shown the brutes yet. I think it's going to be like a more important kind of thing.
Well, I was listening to sorry to interject, but it's just on the same sort of theme and flavor of that. But I was listening to an Arsenal Pass podcast today, and they said they've got a spoiler on the 29th of December, and they're spoiling a hero. And there was a comment made in there. Like I think one of their viewers like asked a question like, when is Brute's mechanics going to be different? And there was like, Brute's mechanics, inside joke. So I think the Brute character that's coming is going to be completely different to what we've seen already. But I think they're the ones that are going to spoil it based on the podcast that I listened to today. But we'll see. But they are spoiling a hero.
I would not be surprised if at least one of the Brute heroes had to do with Wager, because we have a Guardian that has to do with Wager. We have a Warrior that has to do with Wager. It would make sense, just like
dice rolling Wager.
Design wise, have another character or a Brute character that cares about Wager. So when you're drafting in limited, you could pick Wager cards and then use them for any of the classes.
Yeah, that could be cool.
Yeah, I have a spoiler too. I have a spoiler. I'm not gonna tell you what it is.
Must be nice.
It's on mine's on like the 17th or so. Mine's on this. Hey, when is yours, Bill? Mine's on the 17th.
16th.
Okay.
Yeah, so ours is just very slightly before yours.
I'm a bit gutted that this is a set with Brutes and it's a UPF draft set, and I didn't get a spoiler of the set.
Yeah.
That does.
I didn't get one either. It's outrageous, really.
Oh, you shut up!
I didn't even realize. that our spoiler card is
Judge Judy.
Our spoiler card is drawn by Carlos Cruchaga.
You've already spoiled it.
Ooh.
Oh, is it? Oh, wow.
I will say,
like they know me.
I will say, my spoiler card, the art is really good. All right, I'll just say that it's just really good.
Nice.
I won't say anything else. It's just good though. It's great. Yeah.
All that's look forward to.
Yeah, so that'll be fun. It does feel like they're dropping all the heroes before the official spoiler season, because we just got 2. You said the Arsenal Pass has one coming up soon. I wouldn't be surprised if we have the other ones filling out, leading up to the spoiler season. So yeah.
I guess it just makes it smoother as well. If you're going into a calling which is sealed, you already know what the characters do, at least. Well, you are going to know what the cards do, but at least you've had a nice mull over as to what the characters do as well before you go into those environments, maybe.
If you care about that kind of stuff, I like going in like blind. Man. The world premiere events that I've been to for the other sets that they did them for were great, because like you didn't know like what half the cards were. Yeah, it was sweet.
Nice.
What else did I have on the menu here? Oh, okay. You know what? So we talked about our favorite product release. What is everyone's favorite deck? Also, just want to shout out to 10 on Monto. He says, "Hey guys, happy holidays! Happy holidays!"
Happy holidays, absolutely.
So what is everyone's favorite deck of the year? It doesn't have to be like a new thing or whatever. Just like whatever deck that was your favorite playing this year. And I'll kick it off. We'll go reverse order. I'll kick it off, and then we'll do Iain after me this time. So my favorite deck of the year.
Everybody knows what my answer is going to be anyway.
Mine's pretty obvious too, and I think people could maybe guess Bill's if they're a frequent listener of the podcast. But I mean, mine's pretty obvious. It's Uzuri. In fact, Uzuri single-handedly is the only deck I have in play for Classic Constructed at all. I have some Blitz decks, I have some UPF decks, but for CC, I technically have that Viserai deck that I built a long time ago that I've still somehow kept together. But for me, it's really Uzuri, and I love the deck, I love the character, and totally not just because I got to spoil her. Also, she's just a really cool assassin has cool lore, and she's also good, which is sorry, ARAKNI. I like you, ARAKNI, but you're not exactly good. So yeah, it's saying the least.
You know, with all this gold and stuff running around, maybe a lot of people want to put on the Crown of Dominion, and therefore Regicide becomes an active meta call because you kill someone with it.
And then they play Unstoppable and block it for 8, and then you die because they blocked it. They blocked it.
At least you go out on your own terms. That's fine. You go out on your own terms. You know, you lost a game, not me. You know.
Yeah.
Well, no, I lost a game. You didn't kill me.
Yeah,
So
I lost it on my own terms.
Exactly.
This is completely different. But yeah, Uzuri's my pick, and not particularly close. And I think it's, I've like 95% foiled out the deck, and the only cards that aren't foil are my 3 Alpha E strikes in the deck, and 2 of my codexes of frailty that I need to upgrade. But other than that,
they are expensive, aren't they? Even the Marvels are still holding their value, aren't they? Unfortunately.
Yeah, I do have.
I'm not saying unfortunately, but
I do have one Marvel, but the Marvel is in my Highlander ARAKNI deck now with the other Marvels. My Highlander ARAKNI deck is actually like spicy as hell. Like I just grabbed like my nicest rarity cards that weren't already in decks, and so it's got like Marvel codices and like alpha foil cards and stuff. It's just like just throw them in, whatever.
I recommend going and watching that as well. Anyone who's listening to this now in the future, go and watch this live stream we did because we had some good games on there.
And rinsed me, dude. I'm not gonna tell you the scores. I won a couple games, but bro, I got dunked. So
I got the obviously I spoiled the Judge Judy card, which is long time ago now, but I actually managed to get that off against Kel, and he discarded all but 1 card from his hand, which basically won me the game, which was lovely. And I was running a Sanskar Great Bow list as well, so it came in with the aim counter off the top, didn't have to pay any extra, and it had a buff behind it. No, it didn't. It was actually coming in for 4 because you gave me a frailty the turn before, but you couldn't block the 4 because all your armor had gone, and you only had 3 blocks in hand, so you couldn't block it, which was just perfect. Even with the debuff, it was still active. You had to have a D reactor to block it out, but you didn't. So praise be.
Yeah, if you want to see some high roll games, go watch it.
That's what we were saying, wasn't it? Highlander does lend itself to those high rolls because every card that you draw is going to give you a different effect if you stack it all on top of each other, especially with a ranger, because you just get all the different things in one arrow, and that's just what happened in a couple of those games.
Yeah,
you don't have any duplicate cards in your deck because that's the format.
You know what?
So it's good fun.
So in honor of Highlander, also Guardian of Fun says, "Hey RZR, hey, how's it going?" In honor of Highlander, I'm gonna give my runner-up favorite decks to my Highlander, the 3 Highlander decks that I built, because that was really fun and I wanted to play more Highlander. It was great. So Uzuri is my favorite deck of the year, and then after that, like I'm gonna say my Highlander decks. Those are great. So because really my favorite UPF deck is just Uzuri again. So just with more everyone effects.
Yeah. Before we throw it over to Iain, just shout out to the chat. So Caleb is saying, I love my Great Axe Dory deck.
Hell yeah.
So that's obviously a good shout. And then Chris is saying, I managed to build We Make Best take on Teklo Vossen and having a blast armoring up. Teklo Vossen's a strange one to face. I am Iron Man. Yeah.
Big
But,
Metal Chungus.
Just thought I'd shout those people out before we go to Ian's best deck, at least.
All right, Ian. I have a feeling I know what you're going to say, but go for it. What's your favorite deck of the year?
Well, so favorite deck of the year.
Yeah.
So the deck that I've enjoyed playing the most this year.
Yeah.
Yeah. This. I mean, it's not going to be a shock for anyone who's played against me this year, but I think maybe you'll get it, Kel. But it's not a brute. It's not a brute.
Oh.
My favorite deck that I played this year is Taipanis.
Yeah.
UPF Taipanis
Right.
is hilarious. It is so fun. And the ruling that you can redivert an attack to the attacker, it's so
Is that
good.
real? Is that real?
Yeah,
That's great.
yeah.
Oh my god.
I officially had to step away from the table, find the head judge of the event, and like, I need to ask this question and before I do this thing because it's going to give way too much information away if I don't. And yeah, because it's a redirect of the damage. It's not a redirect of the attack.
Oh my god.
Yeah,
That's
it is
wild.
hilarious. It is so much fun. I think I've had a ridiculously good record with it. I think I'm something like, out of 13 or 14 games, I think I'm like eight or 9 wins with it. So like percentage-wise, it's been great.
Wow.
For 2024, my goal is to hopefully try and get a hold of a gavel, because I've just been using the Talishar at the moment. So I'd love to get my hands on a gavel. Unfortunately, it only comes in judge packs, and not a lot of those things are getting opened. They're getting sold as sealed packs. So if anyone has a line on getting me a gavel, hit me up. I'm happy to talk trades and stuff. I also wouldn't mind to get if I get the gavel to get the proclamation as well, which would be kind of cool. But yeah, that by far is the most fun I've had playing Flesh and Blood this year. I want to get a 9-person UPF game out at Mighty Ape. Shout out to Mighty Ape, home of the Go Bananas promo. That was intense. But yeah, other than that, in Blitz, I've been running almost exclusively all year Meat Axe Rhina, which is with the Skullhorn for the extra intimidate factor, and that's a super aggressive, super fun deck. And in CC, I've been running Levia all year in different iterations. Again, I'm not going to say that I am a deck builder. A lot of my Levia, I'd hit up the man himself, Mansant, and go, send me your list. I'm on good terms with Mansant, and I'm always happy to throw in a few suggestions here and there, and I'll change a couple of cards here. But I bow to the deck building geniuses that are better at deck building than I am. But those are my in the 3 formats that I play. Those are my decks of 2023. Although honorable mention to Melody. I've really been enjoying playing Melody, and I can't wait to play a bit more of a built up Melody deck as opposed to just straight out of the box, which is very cool.
It's funny that you, for the UPF decks that you said, you played 2 of the 3 of my kill on sight classes and heroes. Taipanis is kill on sight. You don't mess around Taipanis. Don't give into it. He will kill you and you'll win. He'll win. Number 2, Wizard. Don't let the wizards mess with you. They will kill you. And then number 3 is Melody. She will be like, "Oh, I'm gonna give you tokens and stuff. It's gonna be great." No, kill her. She's just gonna hit you for like 23 or something. Just like, yeah,
usually twice.
Yeah, like sometimes twice at the same turn. So
that's funny though. As a Taipanis player, you can redirect that obviously lethal damage from a Melody turn. Surely you can just be like, "Oh no, you're not going to kill this person. You're going to kill this person instead." Because it
Yeah.
is it
Or
redirect
yourself.
lethal damage? Is it redirect
Yeah.
lethal damage? Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And that's definitely lethal damage every time with a melody combo off, isn't it? So that's pure
Mm.
power in your hands there.
I do want to mention
To be
Chris.
fair though, there is a character that I'm a kill on site in UPF that you don't want to let them hang around, and it needs people getting on board. You don't want Yoji hanging around.
Yep.
Like if you get into late game with Yoji, there's no way you're finishing him off. So
Yeah.
you definitely need to make sure Yoji gets taken out early.
Convince the wizard player to burst down Yoji, and then you kill the wizard after Yoji's dead. And then all the people playing fair decks can play. In my one UPF event that I actually was at, which was at the Battle Hard in Portland, I ended up not winning, but there were like these two brute players who were definitely like related to each other, who were definitely like totally colluding because they were sitting next to each other, but they were not attacking each other. And they even they looked at each other when we were like, you guys gotta attack each other. And they like debated it. And they're like, okay, here's a little weak attack or whatever. And so I was sitting next to a Viscerai player who was just stacking up rune chants. That's all he was doing. And the second I died, he would kill the brute next to me. And I was just like, you need me as a shield to do that. And so I was just sending all of my attacks at the brute guy because I was like, you know what, if you guys are gonna collude, I'm gonna make this Viscerai win. He's just gonna kill everyone with his like 80 like rune chants. Anyway, long story short, yeah, Viscerai won. So
Nice.
But yeah, UPF, there's some good politicking. It was still a memorable game, even though I definitely lost. So Iain, Chris Lau says he knows someone who's letting go of a gavel. Hit him up.
Oh,
so there you go.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. So Bill, what is your favorite deck of the year?
It is. I think it actually got a renewed sense of appreciation in my eyes when we got to Barcelona, because it is still, and has been for a while, my aggro prism deck. But it was the first time that I'd gotten to play aggro prism against people who were unaware of the deck's existence entirely.
When you say aggro prism, I think most people assume they're like, oh, heralds and stuff. No, Bill, what do you mean by aggro prism?
So there was a card that was printed in Uprising called Transmogrify. And what that does specifically is it's similar to Phantasmify, which if you've been playing since Monarch, you're probably familiar with. It's a card that buffs your next attack by making it an illusionist type. It gives it the illusionist type. It also gives it Phantasm, but it also gives it usually a pretty large buff. I believe Phantasmify red buffs by 5 for 1 resource.
Yep.
So the idea behind that is you make your attack huge, but it's also fragile. Transmogrify modifies the base attack of your next attack to the red one is 8, the yellow one is 7, and also gives them Phantasm and makes them illusionist. Why that matters is because there was also a card printed in Everfest called Fractal Replication, which copies the base power, the highest base power, of illusionist cards that are on the combat chain, and also copies all of their effects. So when you're able to, this happened turn 0 against a Dorinthia, when I was playing against the 3 floating guys. Actually, shout out 3 floating; they were absolutely phenomenal. But yeah, I'm going to play a red Transmogrify. Oh no, I think this one was a Phantasmify or something, because I was attacking in with an illusionist snatch with Go Again from Luminaris, and then was going to be able to follow it up with a Fractal Replication if I really wanted to, but it was turn 0, so I figured there was better things that I could save the Fractal for. But yeah, being able to go, okay, I would like to attack you for 9, on hit, draw a card, Go Again for 1 resource.
It's pretty good.
Yeah, so that's my favorite deck. It's not particularly close. It got some really cool tools in actually not for a while now, because Dusk Till Dawn wasn't quite as good for that style of deck as I kind of initially wanted it to be. Dusk Till Dawn Prism cared more about setting up the board
Do you-
and being more defensive in general.
Do you run the Lost in Thought?
I don't actually.
Okay.
That is a good question though, because like maybe I should. I haven't really retooled the deck in a little while. It's at a point where it's like it is quite good, and wanting to basically balance out as many, because the deck is an A plus B combo deck. It does have some heralds that allow the deck to function when you don't have the buffs. But outside of that, like I'm running Overload, I'm running Snatch, I'm running all three colors of Snatch actually. I'm running Spectral Prowler, which is a 0-cost attack that gains go again if you have a Spectral Shield that also blocks for 3. Its power is completely irrelevant because you don't play it if you're not buffing it up. But yeah, so that's my favorite deck, like easily, and yeah, being able to play it against the 3 floating guys and just have them basically scratch their head every time I did something or showed them another card in the deck is exactly why I made that deck. It was so much fun to be able to show it off to a group of unsuspecting individuals. And because that was in Team Blitz, there was actually quite a few people that were introduced to the deck, and every single person that I showed it to was like, this is maybe the most creative deck I've ever seen in my life. And I'm like, I appreciate that.
I remember that combo in Uprising Limited or Draft, is if you could get that in Vipox.
Yes.
And turn
Yeah.
Vipox.
I run a 1 of Vipox in the deck. That's true too.
Yeah, that's what, because like as soon as you sort of mentioned it, I was like, yeah, because I had that done to me in in an Uprising Draft, and it's sick.
Oh my god, yeah. There was the best in draft usage of that was I played a red Transmogrify to start my turn because I was playing Dromai, which gave all my dragons go again. I attacked with like 2 of my dragons and some of my Ashwings, and then I ended it off with a Lava Burst for 11. Because the buff only gets consumed by an actual attack. So yeah, they were sitting at like 18. I attacked them with a bunch of stuff. They blocked enough to go down to exactly 11. And then I was like, okay, end off with this. And they look at it and they're like, hey, that's lethal. I'm like, yeah, it is.
Before you get to Az, I do want to mention, like Bill said, Living Legends 1, 3 floating 0. What? Balls in your court. What?
That's right. Yeah. I love the fact as well that I think it was Aiden you were playing against was playing Dorinthia, so he didn't have any poppers in the deck whatsoever.
Yeah, he did end up winning that game just because I didn't like the deck is very swingy, obviously, just from how I described it even. But yeah, he was definitely worried. And Sam O'Byrne, shout out, was the one that was basically telling him like, oh, you're maybe screwed. You don't have a way to pop anything.
This is Bill's Prism deck. He was saying something along those lines. Yeah. That was brilliant.
Said, I know this.
He wasn't playing the one-off gore belching as Dorinthia.
No, I don't think he was.
The gore belching. No,
have you not seen that combo?
I have.
You played gore belching and one was it Rouse the Ancients? So it's it's just an attack for 7.
You.
Nice.
I would still rather run the tried and true what is it called? The 6 dominate 1 intellect card. Nourishing Emptiness. Yeah, I'd still rather run the Nourishing Emptiness. It's classic.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah. All right, Az.
Nice. Well, yeah. So
your favorite is Icelander, right?
That's right. Yeah, Icelander.
Yeah, it's Icelander.
Yeah. The Wounded Bull version as well. Nah, absolutely. Get it out of here. So, to no surprise of anyone, my favourite deck is Azalea. It's been on quite a journey this year as well, because there's been multiple decks that have come out, and obviously she's won a calling as well this year, finally. And I managed to interview the guy who managed to take that down on the Azalea cult on Go Again Gaming, so a little plug there. Yeah, she got to top 8 of a calling in, was it Worlds or maybe Baltimore, with a Sandscour Great Bow list, which I think was the card advantage guys maybe that did that. She's obviously had the Death Dealer list, which is obviously the hotness at the moment, and that was all made possible through Outsiders. And Dynasty with the Sandskar Greatbow, which I spoiled as well. But yeah, loads of cool Azalea decks came out this year, and it was just great to see her finally get some limelight. And with Ice now gone as well, I think I was speaking to another Azalea aficionado from Italy on the Azalea Cult episode recently, who mentioned that I think Azaleas could be a force going forward. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens when heavy hitters hits us, no pun intended. To see how she carries on. But yeah, Azalea, my favourite deck. Just, a lot of support this year, and yeah, finally nice to be able to get some nice little wins myself on in big events like Callings. Taking down some pretty good British Guardian players was a nice little highlight of my year playing in the Calling and beating someone who was clearly a pro or aspired to be a pro, and I just high rolled them on Azalea. That was great fun.
Beaten by this random degenerate.
Just beaten by Az from Going In Gaming, who's just there for the crack.
What? You're supposed to be a casual. How can you beat me?
Yeah. I was gonna say I don't think I'd ever recover from being beaten by Az from Go Again Gaming. Personally,
that's right. Who was up till 5 a.m. the night before and still beats me.
Oh my God.
Like I said, man. As rinsed me on the Highlander stream. I am devastated. No,
that's a good thing though.
It was good. It was good.
Exactly. If you play one hero and one hero only, it doesn't matter what you're in it to do that
you get
day.
Pretty good at the hero.
You know how to navigate the deck to a certain degree. You might not know the value per card in per capita of the points of the value accrued and all this, but you know what cards you should be blocking with or playing. You need to know your opponent and your matchup. That's probably what I don't know. If I knew every single deck that I was facing, I might be able to evaluate my hands and stuff that I should be doing better.
You're telling me you didn't know the full contract ARAKNI matchup that we played? How do you not know that?
No, that's true.
It's a very popular one currently.
It's a popular deck, especially in Highlander, the prestigious format Flesh and Blood.
Yeah, followed by Prism, Advent of Thrones, No Block Angel deck.
No Block Angel deck, yeah.
That deck can wombo you though, so you can.
Yeah, it was pretty scary. Turn 1 at least. Go and check it out if you haven't seen it already. But yeah, Azalea, my favourite. Lots of ways to take her, and I'm not sure whether we'll get much. Well, we got the judge jury card, which obviously is aim counter matters. Stefano, who I spoke to the other day, says it's a slam dunk. He thinks it should be in every deck, no matter whether it's Sandskar or Death Dealer. Thinks it should be in there. I do as well. It's a one-off. It's legendary. The fact that you can knock for it or memorial ground it, there are ways to get it. And when it hits a hero, it dismantles them. It doesn't matter what hero it is either. Red in the Ledger only affects certain heroes because Guardians can still smack you with one action. But if you're discarding their entire hand apart from one card, they can't. No hero can do anything really. So it is very good.
What's the best play? Gorbelching? Gorbelching and hitting a card he attacks for 7 or something, like hitting a Gorgonian Tome or something. How does Gorbelching work again? I don't remember.
No, you have to reveal until you come against another attack action, and then it's attack minus whatever the attack value. The attack action you reveals. That's why you have to play it with like Rouse the Ancients to get maximum value.
Okay.
So not even a Gorbelching could save you against Judge Judy. But there we go.
Well, if you're playing against the Dorinthia, who has the Gorbelching and the Rouse the Ancients, there you go.
True. There we go. But yeah, favorite deck clearly Azalea. That's pretty much it.
Surprising.
Absolutely.
Biggest surprise of the year.
Yes.
As likes Azalea. Yeah.
As likes Azalea.
Geeks First says happy holidays, you all. Happy holidays. And then Guardian of Fun says their favorite deck is their FI deck, on account that it's the first deck they've ever built. FI had a big showing this year, winning world champs. Yeah. And not really much else. But I mean, do you really need to win much else if you're winning world champs? I don't know.
Yeah, world champs is kind of the best showing that you can have.
I feel like FI had a bunch of top 8s running up to worlds, didn't?
Oh, maybe. I just was being cheeky.
Yeah.
And that was with Icelander still around, was it? Was that where Icelander was still there?
And to be said, there's something to be said about your first deck. I do agree that often the first deck that you get into in a game will always hold a special spot in the nostalgia for you.
Yeah. For Flesh and Blood and me, it's weird because I've always wanted to play all the classes and do all the things up until recently, where I found that the new sets are really hard to just buy boxes and get a full play set. Maybe I just have to buy singles only now, but before up till like Outsiders, I had a full play set of the entire game, and I would try to play all the decks. My first deck was, well, technically the first deck I ever built was Bravo in a deck box build. I don't know what you want to call it. I built a Bravo deck out of a booster box of Welcome to Wraith. This is my first or second Flesh and Blood video ever, and I opened a foil E-Strike in the video. It was pretty good. And then the first,
must be nice for someone to send you that box.
Yeah, I know. Whoever they are out there in the big wide world. It's like cool to get that foil Easter egg. My early luck for Flesh and Blood was great because that box had a foil Easter egg, and then I bought a random box off of eBay, and I had a tunic in it. Just a random, like, you couldn't buy Flesh and Blood anywhere at the time. And so like eBay was one of the best options, and even then there was like not very many sellers. And so I just bought a random WTR box off eBay, and it had a cold foil tunic in it. So that was pretty cool.
That's wild.
Yeah. So
yeah, my first ever sealed Welcome to Wraith event, which was the first ever sealed Welcome to Wraith event on release date. I pulled a foil E-Strike.
It's pretty good.
And then proceeded to trade it away for 2 non-foil E-Strikes.
Someone
on the same day to a developer who knows who he is.
I actually sold that one. I sold that one to Jim from FABTCG Cards, actually. Yeah. And I ended up buying a full play set of E-Strikes that I still have. Well, like I said, I used it in those 3 in my Uzuri deck. But my first deck, like actual constructed deck that I built, I think it might have been Dorinthia. I think Dorinthia was probably my first actual constructed deck. The first deck that I actually played was Katsu, and I got owned by my partner Robin, who was playing Dorinthia, and I was like, God, these Kadachis suck. It was one of those things where I didn't understand the value of it, because I'm like, my stupid daggers are attacking you for 1, and your sword's attacking me for 3 for the same cost, and I'm like, this is dumb. And you realize,
hot take from Red Zone Rogue back in the day. Kadachi suck. They'll never be good.
Rubbish.
Yeah, like this is dumb. Well, it's when you first start playing.
Weapons in the game.
It was so that was like the first time playing, and I've never watched any gameplay. This was like January or February 2020, right? The game had only been out for a few months. It's my first time ever playing. I didn't watch any gameplay videos. I did watch a how to play video by this unknown YouTuber that no one's ever heard of called DM Armada. And
who's that?
The random dude had a really good gameplay video, a really good how to play video. I don't know. Robin and I watched that, and then we played. Like, and then my first impression was like, these things suck after playing Magic for 20 something years. And then you realize, like, card equity, you can't evaluate it the same way you evaluate Magic. So I was like, oh, okay, I get it now. And that was for me personally, that was one of the moments where I actually realized how you actually play Flesh and Blood, when you realize that Kadachis are good. Yeah.
Nice.
Let me see.
Yeah.
I have other topics. What are the other topics?
What about favorite memory of the year? Flesh and Blood memory in general.
Oh yeah. So we also have we can do some Q&As, and we can do some giveaway stuff, because if people joining now, hey, I have this card to give away. I need to think of a good question. I've been trying to think of a good question, but I've been waffling on it. I'm not sure of a good question to ask everyone.
We've been waffling. It's all good.
Favorite memory of the year for me. I'm kind of like a one-trick pony on this. It's just going to be like being able to spoil Uzuri meant a lot to me. And so that's probably my favorite, even though it was like the actual spoiler day was premature because Uzuri had gotten leaked. And so my video wasn't quite ready. I was going to redo the audio, but they're like, you could just go now because she's leaked. So just go before anyone can see it. And I'm like, all right, here we go. But other than, it made it, maybe that even made it more memorable to me, since it was kind of like the whole thing. And then there was that picture of like everyone from LSS kind of around that computer for the debut of it. So yeah, that did mean quite a lot to me personally. So I was also not able to make it to Worlds, so I can't mention that into it. So yeah, the Uzuri reveal was my favorite moment. How about we'll go the opposite order? We'll go Az.
Favorite moment of the year was probably organizing the Flesh and Blood football game, because that really resonated with a lot of people, and giving James White the signed football he was very, very appreciative of that. So I'd love to see where that ends up. Whether that's in the LSS office or not, I don't know, but he said he would put it somewhere.
Very excited about it, honestly.
Yeah, I haven't seen it yet. To be fair.
Oh, okay.
I think it's more in his daughter's sporting gear box.
Yeah.
Yes, that'll do.
I was gonna say I do know that there's some of my random ass playmats that are in the LSS office, because I see them sometimes when they're taking like dev pictures of like the pre-release or whatever, and like Kieran randomly has one of my mats, and I'm like, oh, let's go. Even if they're just in the random bulk pile of mats to be pulled out, I'll still take it. I'll take it.
It's a good idea, actually. Just send a a creator mat to LSS and just hope that it makes it to their office.
I think they get a lot. I stopped doing that. I think they get a lot of them.
Yeah, to be fair, as someone whose now job is to deal with that, it's a lot of money to send it to us, and they don't get as used as much as you think they would. So
fair enough.
There are a lot of play mats at LSS. So
that's why I said
there is.
That's why I said I'm glad I've made mine. At least a couple of mine have made it into like, I don't know, the bulk pile or something that are sometimes used.
Bulk bin. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll take it. Yeah. So.
But yeah, a lot of good memories this year, and another recent one as well. I got to sport a legendary Azalea specialization, which meant a lot to me as well. So I guess that was also a good moment. And James White was in the chat, was in the live reveal for the chat as well. So yeah, that was a good one also. But yeah, lots of good memories this year. Hard to pick one, but
I love how your reveals are like banger Azalea cards, and then just like random ass common from Dusk Till Dawn or whatever.
Oh, yeah. Was it bloody Soup Up was quite cool, which was the motorbike one. I like making the fun videos, like the whole cinematic, epic, sort of story-driven videos for a common card. I go balls deep for these spoilers. So lots of good memories. So I'll throw it over to whoever wants to take the baton for the memories of the year.
I'm just laughing because he's like, yeah, this is like cinematic story. And I remember the Soup Up one, the whole plot was like, Azalea's gonna wanna do me now.
That's right, yeah. Yes, Azalea finally wants me now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The metal music, but yeah, carry on.
But yeah, I guess I'll go next because I've been going after Az, I suppose.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean the easy answer is just like Barcelona as a whole, and if I wanted to pin it down to something more specific, it was I got to meet so many cool people, man. Like we got to just hang out with people that I never thought that I would be able to, and getting recognized by fans of like the channel and like our content, the three of us. Shout out Iain from Right Time Gaming. Yeah, it was just Barcelona as a whole was just such a crazy experience. And I'm so thankful for everybody that made it happen, like as getting the best possible Airbnb that we could have ever dreamed of. It was a literal
it was
1
crazy,
minute walk.
wasn't it? That was mental.
Yeah, I was a big fan of that one. And yeah, like just that was easily the coolest thing that I've gotten to do because of Flesh and Blood, and I think it's just the beginning of it too. So, yeah,
Just like that random moment where we I was probably drunk at the time, but I just remember wandering through the streets and suddenly we were in the Irish Airbnb and all the Irish people were in there and you were getting taught how to play Dash.io.
Oh, yeah.
And that was just such a random moment, but it just sticks in your mind, doesn't it?
yeah, it was just
funny.
Yeah, it was just so incredible. Getting to meet the professor after his like Q&A time officially closed, because I was just like, hey, I like the way that you enjoy your old fashions. Also, I'm Jim from the Spike Feeders' younger brother. And he was just like, oh yeah, obviously, come here.
Yeah. That was nice. It was nice
so cool.
nice that he posted a picture of us on his actual TOLARIAN. Yeah, a lot of good memories for sure.
Yeah, really good shout out.
Yes.
Prof remembers who you are at least a little bit as, because I don't remember when, but I brought you up in a conversation like a month or two ago, and I was like, oh, he's that British guy that we had dinner with at that Worlds that one time. He's like, oh yeah, I remember him.
Yeah, that random guy.
Yeah.
Degenerate. Yeah. Nice.
All right, Iain. How about what's your favorite memory of the year?
I've got two. One is NZ Nationals this year. Was run by Sushi Night Games. Shout out to Sushi Night Games, who have unfortunately just recently posted that they are going to be closing their doors at the end of the year, which is a real shame for the community here. But all the best to Steve and the crew for their future endeavors. But Nats this year was held out at it was actually held out at like a retreat out in the hut, and so if you wanted to, you could book rooms at this place, and it was really nice because it's like a place that's usually used for like weddings and stuff like that. So like the rooms were quite nice and stuff like that, and so we myself, Darren, and Sam got like a 3-bedroom place, and it was really nice, and it was really cool to just chill out at the end of the day. Sam got second after Swiss on day one running Levia, which was really cool. So just being there to support him, and that was great. And that was just a really fun time, and it was just like it really reminded me of like you said, like with your Barcelona trip, it's like the trip more so than the games itself was what was really cool. And I think that's one that will stay with me as it's been probably my favorite nationals that I've been to, and I've been to all of New Zealand's nationals so far. So that was cool. And then I guess the easiest thing for me to say as best memory of 2023 was when I re-signed a full-time contract with LSS again. So that was pretty cool. For those who don't know, I am back working full-time at LSS in a different capacity. I'm in the operations logistics team now, which effectively means I'm in the basement. If you've ever seen the IT crew, the British IT crew.
Oh yes, great show.
I feel like I'm gonna turn into Noel Fielding's character from that.
Hey, I got some great music to recommend for you then.
But yeah, no, that's been cool. So I've actually spent the last month in the new offices of LSS, even though the rest of the team only got in a while ago, because obviously the basement was done before the swish upstairs was. So that's been great, and it's great to be back working with the company that officially last time I was full time with them was back in 2021. I think was when last time, and so it's nice to be back and working as part of the team again.
Yeah, I remember
good stuff, mate. Nice one.
Yeah, that random guy that we talked about earlier who sent me that alpha box. his name was very similar to yours. I don't know. So Iain was mentioning that. It reminded me of two other things that happened this year that are also Flesh and Blood related that were just great moments for me too. One of them was he mentioned nationals. And I was like, oh yeah, I did coverage at US Nationals. That was great. It was great to get back into the coverage booth and do that. And then the other one, which arguably is like even cooler, even though it's like just it was like a local thing here with like friends, but I was on the TOLARIAN Community College Shuffle Up and Play. I forgot that happened this year.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, I was on the Shuffle Up and Play with DM Ramada and Dalen Mack, and that was great. And Dalen, he counterpicked me and chose ARAKNI. I was gonna choose ARAKNI for the thing, and I'm like, oh, I guess I'm not picking ARAKNI. But no, yeah, that was really good. That was cool. Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of good stuff happened this year. So it's going to be interesting to see if next year tops it. I don't know where Worlds is going to be or anything, but yeah, it's going to be a good one next year, I think.
Yeah, it'll be. No, actually, that technically won't be true. I was gonna say it'd be the first year with like kind of like the new design philosophy, but I think this year was the first year because we started off with outsiders. So it'll be interesting to see how sets continue.
That's the first year without supplementary sets.
Yeah. True that we know of so far. I suspect some weird stuff's gonna happen. So they said that we have 3 booster sets, right? That's been announced. But didn't they also say at Worlds that there was gonna potentially be like other releases in between the booster sets? So I'm curious to see if they're just like, oh, here's another version of Round the Table, or here's another version of. But
classic battles,
but they've been doing weird stuff. So I wouldn't be surprised if they have like a surprise. Weird thing coming up.
They have.
You are totally frozen. You're totally frozen, Iain.
I said that.
He's back.
I have lots of ideas. That's probably then someone freezing my internet before I say too much.
Yeah, right.
Hey, turned him off quick.
Hit the switch.
Like the Tom Holland of LSS. Just like, don't invite him to any interviews. He just spoils everything.
James White's house is literally a couple of k's away from here, so
yeah,
I'm sure he's got a signal jam. He's got a signal jammer that can.
It's literally like the signal jammer from Flesh and Blood. Yeah,
good card. Yeah. Brilliant.
But yeah, it'll be interesting to see what they do. If there is like another Round the Table, or if there's classic battles, or even something weird or new or different or something. So yeah, I'm curious to see. It's been interesting how they're incorporating those expansion cards into like the expansion slot of draft boosters, because we've gotten that for like the last 3 sets now, right? Starting with I guess it wasn't a draft booster, but starting with Dusk Till Dawn, we had expansion slot, and then we had expansion slot in Bright Lights, and now obviously we have them in Dusk Till Dawn. So I think that's a great way to put these cards in places. I know Az will be sad when they finally do an expansion slot and there's no Azalea card, but yeah.
Oh well. Luckily I've had my opportunity. I've put so much work and dedication, passion into Azalea that they finally gave me the legendary Azalea thing. So I'm happy with that now. That's I'm happy with that. Whatever comes next for Ranger, I'll be interested to see. But yeah, it seems like it's come nice and full circle for me getting to spoil that.
It's a good achievement to hang your hat on. To be fair, like
yeah, exactly, and the quiver as well. I know the Abyssal Depths isn't really used in Azalea, to be honest, but you know it's nice to be able to spoil a legendary quiver. You know the fact it was a new mechanic also for Ranger. So yeah, so I'm glad with what I've done with that, and thanks for Jim from FABTCG Cars for spearheading that whole movement back before Uprising started, the Azalea cult, because we wouldn't have done it without him. So shout out to him if you're listening to this now in the future as well.
Yeah, shout out to not Bill's brother Jim.
That's right, the honorary phantom member of the Living Legends podcast, always makes it into episodes.
Yeah,
even though he's not actually here.
Yeah. So Iain's what we've called the honorary 4th member of the podcast, and then we have Jim, who's
Jim's
the Phantom member, who's never been on the podcast, but he's talked about frequently.
Always mentioned. Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
I think the next honor member after Iain has got to be Brian, because he's the person who's been on the podcast the next most, and
Yeah.
he is Brian Gottlieb has a standing invitation to come onto the podcast to talk about whatever new set comes out, and so
Yeah.
we're gonna hit him
Sam
back.
said he would be up for more as well, right? Right?
Yeah.
He was on because
Yeah.
our episode with Sam was very long, wasn't it? It was a massive discussion, that one.
Yeah,
So we can get him
getting
back on again.
Sam Yang on to talk every few months or however long about all the art and creative department stuff is great. I love highlighting these other parts of LSS that don't really get a lot of the spotlight, and I think they really deserve it. So that's why we've had Alan Hale on. He talked about organized play. We had Chris Bewley on back when he was doing the content liaison stuff. We had Joshua Scott talk about rules. Yeah,
We got Iain on now to talk about
We got Iain?
basements.
talk about basements and staplers.
Brilliant.
Took my stapler. Anyway, yeah. It's been good. Let's see.
Yeah.
I do have the giveaway. As is
I was
also
just going to say.
gonna give
I was
away.
just going to say, you could just email the Living Legends podcast at gmail.com, and then we could choose one on the next podcast as a winner. Maybe just get someone to write in what their favourite memory was for Flesh and Blood this year to the Living Legends podcast at gmail.com, and then we can just read out the memories next time and pick one, perhaps.
Okay, we could do that. For the audio only
Yeah, I don't
people,
hate
this will go live tomorrow morning is my goal. I'm just gonna export this and get the audio up there tonight. So they should have roughly about the same amount of time if they listen to it.
Yeah.
So
I reckon that'll be good.
or we can save it. Maybe we'll do a one week delay on that to give people more time to write in to us, because I think if we have everything planned out, we'll probably be recording the next episode early-ish next week, sometime after Christmas, for the final episode of the year, and then we'll maybe get back into a sort of normal schedule, even though my January and February are insane. So we'll see how we could work that out, because it was announced last night that I am going to Japan on February 1st, and I'll be there for a week ish. So that'll put a little damper. Maybe we'll do a call-in episode, and I'll do the call-in from Japan.
Yeah, we can make it work. I mean, we've made multiple things work before. We've had a me and you episode. We've had a me and Bill episode before. You know, we can work around these things. It doesn't matter where we are in the world. We can bring out a Living Legends podcast to a certain degree. We can get Iain on again. Speak about more basements. But
oh no, Iain! Now regretting telling us he's the basement man.
I'm fine.
Love the old job.
I'm fine.
Yeah.
But
anyway, yeah,
we'll see how that works. So yeah, that's it. The giveaway will be email us at the Living Legends podcast at gmail.com with your favourite Flesh and Blood memory of 2023, and then we will not next episode,
and also the weirdest side that you get from a takeaway shop in your country.
Okay, yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, the weirdest side that
I
you get.
I like that. That's a throwback.
Yeah, okay, that has to be
You've
part
been
of the
listening
email,
from the beginning of the episode.
Right.
Exactly right. Your weirdest side from the country that you're in. Fantastic. And then we'll pick one. Not the next episode, because that'll be our top 5 or whatever cards from the year. But the episode after that, we'll pick it then as to who the winners are. I'll be giving away just like a little swag bag of Azalea stuff and tokens and that, and also an Aether Ashwing playmat as well. That's what I'll be giving away.
Nice.
So yeah, and then you've got the good deeds as well, which you'll be giving away.
So I have this good deeds promo.
Nice.
I'm gonna give this away to someone in chat. I'll mail it to anywhere in the world. So wherever you live, I'll pay the shipping. I'll mail it to you. I need to think of a good question, and I was trying to think of questions that would be doable, without being too harsh. I was gonna try to keep it so Okay, what do you guys think? Should I keep it just Flesh and Blood related, or should I keep it Living Legend related? Because I have.
Is this for a live winner in the
Yeah,
chat right now?
Yeah, I'm gonna
Oh, I
ask
see.
someone a piece of trivia, and the first person to
Okay.
answer it correctly will get the card.
Oh.
And
right,
the
okay.
audio only people listening back, well, they can just kind of answer internally, I guess, just to see if they
Or
got it right.
They can write in for the stuff I'm giving away. You know, there's prizes for the audio too. But right now, I reckon it has to be. Yeah, I don't know, a random question.
So
Obviously, do Flesh and Blood.
Okay, so yeah, I was gonna say I have a. Okay, so if it was going to be Living Legends related, Living Legend podcast related, the question would have been, what was the topic of our very first episode? Which is a good one, but we're not doing
I was
that.
about to say, do you win that by saying Flesh and Blood?
No. The actual
Ding,
the
ding,
actual
ding,
topic.
ding, ding.
Yeah, the actual
I don't think
topic.
there was one, was there?
Yeah, there is. It's
There was one.
sort of. It was the first one was a community Q&A mailbag. The very first episode.
that's right.
And that one was a 3.5 hour one. Anyway.
Yeah. Okay.
Great pilot.
So here's the actual question. So everyone in chat, get ready. I haven't written this out. This is just off the top of my head, but I think it's a good piece of Flesh and Blood trivia going back to the very start of the game. So this is not a 2023 question. This is an OG original Flesh and Blood question. All right. This has to do with the original 2019 IRA welcome deck. What is the unique thing about the weapon in the IRA welcome deck? The first person to answer this correctly will get the promo. We'll get this promo.
Yeah.
And that's live in the chat now. So
yes.
I want to answer this question because I know the answer.
And also just a bit of a correction there. It's technically a 2018 IRA deck.
Oh, okay, could be. Oh, yeah. Wording, nope, that is not correct.
It's a very interesting.
Yeah, it's a cool piece of Flesh and Blood trivia.
I'm a big fan.
Edge of Autumn Rainbow Foil. Nope. Edge of Autumn is the name of the weapon, but the Rainbow Foil is not the unique thing about it. Mm-hmm. In fact, I think the Rainbow Foil was printed first in the Round the Table, right? Crew?
No, Crew.
Yeah. Crew.
Oh, it would have been Crew Unlimited, right? Because Crew first had Alpha, had a Cold Foil.
Had Cold Foils, yeah.
Just out of curiosity, while the chat's still trying to decide and Google the answer, do you guys all know the answer? Because I don't know the answer.
I'm pretty sure Iain knows. Yeah, it's one of those like, oh, there we go. Playtime PCG got it. They say the frame was different, which is technically true. So we're gonna give you that. Bonus points. This is no one that gets anything. Bonus points to chat. Do you know what? Oh, no, I said it. The frame had the same as the legendary frame. So yes, that is the 100% correct answer. The original Edge of Autumn in the IRA welcome deck, the first printing of it, it has the legendary like item frame instead of the normal frame.
Which, if I recall, this could be wrong trivia, but I do recall hearing it somewhere that the reason for that was because they thought that was just going to be the frame for equipment. And then they decided to make it because it looked too nice that they were going to use it for something more.
I think that might have been. I think you're flipping that with the Slingshot Underground Iron Rot equipment. Oh, because I think the Slingshot Underground Iron Rot had also legendary frames, and those are the ones that have like the artist proof card back. So the blank card back on the front, it's the Iron Rot. Mm-hmm. I think that might have been what you're thinking of.
That might be it. Yeah.
So hey, playtime. Message me on Twitter. Your like shipping info, and I'll ship it out at some point. It's the holidays right now, so who knows when it'll go out, but in the next week or so.
Mm-hmm.
Also, fun fact that the 2018 IRA deck had the first alt art card in it as well.
Oh yeah.
Yes, it had head jab.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Nice.
Yep. Which is still one of my favorite artworks in the game. ironically, which is completely different from everything else in the game.
It's the good it's the Sam Yang like comic book style, which is great.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Which,
Yeah.
yeah, phenomenal. Big fan of how those look.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Right. Well, so
stuff.
before we go, I did leave some time for a community Arsenal step. So if anyone has any questions they'd like to ask us or anything, let us know. Until then, I guess we can just do our Arsenal step and just chat about whatever we want to talk about until we were done. So yeah. How's it going, guys? Anything like new outside of Flesh and Blood that you're currently into?
Well, I mentioned at the start before we were recording, I just recently watched a film on Netflix called Rebel Moon, which is basically Zack Snyder's Star Wars vision, which was rejected, and then he just went off and made his own film. Which I thought was very good. It's very Zack Snyder, so if you don't like his films, you're probably not going to like this one. But I thought it was very good. So I definitely recommend watching it for people that are just fans of sci-fi in general, and people that are sick and tired of Hollywood just rehashing and rebooting and redoing the same things over and over again. This is a nice sort of refreshing take on a completely new sci-fi world. So definitely worth checking out if you're looking for some sci-fi stuff over Christmas. But apart from that, not really. For me personally, I've had a few Flesh and Blood things this week. I interviewed Stefano Mioni, which is a Azalea aficionado. And just been playing a bit of Flesh and Blood this week, so not much Arsenal going on apart from that. But I'm going to be eating a lot and drinking a lot over the next week or so with regards to the festivities. I'm actually doing a Christmas Day stream as well. So for anybody who's lonely or doesn't have families to go to or whatever on Christmas, not everybody does. It's not a happy time of year for everybody, so I'm going to be doing a Christmas evening stream in the UK. My girlfriend's over her nan's for the night, and I would have just done everything Christmas Day. All my sort of celebratory debauchery happens on Boxing Day in the UK. That's the day when everyone gets on it. So I'm just going to be doing a nice little chill stream on Christmas Day.
Because there's only one day in the UK that they drink.
That's right. Yeah, just the one day. So we all have to make the most of it.
But they do 364 days worth of it in that one day.
In that one singular day.
They all die. They're just dead. That's
and that's right. That's when we all die. That's it, really. Yeah.
It's like I always things like all your desserts in Christmas are just fake places to hide alcohol. It's like trifle, brandy snaps, Christmas pudding. It's all just places to pour more alcohol in.
Pretty much, yeah.
Like fruitcake. That's like mostly alcohol, I think.
Yeah. It's made with wine, which is grapes. So there we are.
Yeah. So it's fruit. Yeah.
It's healthy. You can drink as much as you want, right? That's what it means.
Exactly.
Yeah. Mine, it's just a lot of other card games. People who watch my channel kind of know I did a whole spiel on it like 2 weeks ago where I said my plans. So I've been doing a lot of Shadowverse and Grand Archive recently. I got some cool sorcery stuff that I'm going to be doing soon. I've just been a lot of people are like relaxing and gearing down for the holidays, and I literally just made like a notepad document of like the next 9 videos that I'm going to be doing. So I'm still on it. So got it all planned out. Other than that, not much else. Just watching normal stuff. Oh, since I'm going to Japan, I've been watching a lot more than normal. I usually watch a lot of Japan related vlog stuff, but now I'm watching a lot more Japan related vlog stuff to prepare for the trip. And that's me recently. Just lots of YouTube content and card game stuff.
I'll be doing exactly the same thing. If I was going to Akihabara, where you're going, I would definitely be googling things to do and things to see and all this, because that's going to be a great time. So yeah, very jealous of you going there. But you're going to have a great time there. I'll be doing the same thing.
Very much looking forward to it. I guess I should just say what it is, since this is the Arsenal step. But
Yeah.
So I'm going to be doing official casting and coverage at the first ever Shadowverse Evolve English World Championships, located in Akihabara, Tokyo, Japan. So I'm going to be in Akihabara. The event is it's going to be live streamed, but I've taken a couple extra days to spend there. So I'm just going to be in Akihabara. Maybe I'll go to some of the other districts in Tokyo, but for this trip only, I think I'm just going to do Tokyo, mostly Akihabara. I've heard a lot of folks say that it takes like 2 solid days if you want to really explore Akihabara, which I'm going to do. I'm going to take 2 full days. So just going to kind of enjoy that spot. And then when I go back to Japan sometime, I'll do other stuff. But this time it's going to be all, otaku mecha, other stuff. I have plans. Going to be going to like Super Potato. Going to go to, obviously go to Ami. There's a bunch of like smaller not mom and pop places, but like smaller places that I want to go to. There's a bunch of card shops that I'm going to hit up. It's going to be great. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
I was just going to make the joke that you say it's Weeb Mecca, but that's spelled MECHA.
Yeah. It's not in Akihabara, but there is a giant scale Gundam figure in Tokyo. You can go see the giant Gundam, which I would like to see. I'm not the biggest fan of Gundam, but I want to see the giant Gundam.
It'll be really cool.
I'm the kind of person I want to go see like the old Shinto shrines and all of the cool cultural stuff, and then I also want to see like the pop culture crap too. I want to see the giant Gundam, and go to like Shinjuku and stuff. But
do Shibuya Crossing and all that.
Oh yeah, go to the Shibuya Scramble. Not on this trip though. This trip will be mostly in Akihabara.
Nice.
But
I just want to quickly before we go around, if we have any other Arsenals. David Mink in the chat is saying, "Ash, you're going to Connecticut, right?" I think I remember hearing that. Yes, I am going to Hartford, USA, in a few months. So if you're going, I'll be seeing you there. If that's what you're alluding to. And then Caleb is saying, "Do you think there's going to be a wizard set?" I think that's been confirmed, isn't it? Already.
Has
not
been confirmed
exactly.
A wizard set. James
all
mentioned
arcane damage.
An all arcane set may happen. Which that doesn't necessarily mean all wizards, because obviously there's other arcane in Wraith. So
I think that would be a great time to introduce like a necromancer or something. 100% necromancer confirmed.
100% necromancer confirmed. The next set.
No, seriously though, I do think it would be a good opportunity to introduce like a cleric or a necromancer or something, so you can have like so it's not just like 3 wizards. You have like a wizard, a necro, and like a rune blade or something. I don't know. Illusionist maybe.
We will see.
Imagine if there's just the actual next arcane thing is just stage magician.
Sure, yeah.
It's like pulling rabbits out of hats and stuff.
Well, they have some of that artwork for the bard cards, right? There's that bard guy.
Yeah.
Who's like
bard / magician can only ever do 1 arcane damage though.
Absolute pingers. Yeah.
Hey, Playtime says they think the necromancer will be the 4th hero in Aria. Potentially, I don't know how like the elements would work with it. But yeah,
definitely feels like a Savage Lands thing to me. Necro.
I think Savage Lands sounds cool. Not like your Diablo Necro, but like a shaman Necro kind of.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah.
I think pits. The Necro in the pits is like perfect. It's all death down there anyway. It's like their perfect area. It's like death and disease, and skulls.
Riptide doesn't look like he's alive, does he? He looks like he's just walking dead, basically.
He's at the very best. He's not looking great.
No, that's right.
And speaking of Riptide,
little jaundice.
Speaking of Riptide, shout out to Mink in chat.
Yeah, hell yeah! Shout out to Mink.
Oh, he's actually saying, "Hell yeah, I'll have collected all of y'all at that point." Then, so has he met you? Has he met all of us then? And why is it? Well, me and Cal and Bill at least.
He and I met at MagicCon Minneapolis back when I went in whenever that was. April or whatever of this past year. Yeah, and then
I think
Kel, I
I
assume he's
I think I met Mink at Nats this year, US Nats. Yeah. Very, I think it was very quick, like just like, hey, and I think he's like, I'm the Riptide guy, and I'm like, hey, Riptide guy.
Oh, nice, fantastic.
I mean, he do be the Riptide guy, that's for sure.
Yeah. Guardian of Fun says, perhaps meet Different Fight, a collab perhaps. I've been actually watching a lot of Different Fight content. He seems like a really good dude, and he did mention that he's going to be casting the Cardfight Vanguard worlds, and he's like, oh, maybe I'll get a chance to come over to the Shadowverse area. So yeah, that'd be cool. It'd be cool to meet a Different Fight. Yeah, seems like a good dude. Yeah, Guinness cupcakes with Irish cream icing. Actually, that does not sound too bad. It's not too bad.
Yeah, that sounds pretty nice. I don't drink Guinness though. I don't like it. Don't like it
I've drinking a
Put in
lot
your
of.
cupcake.
I have
Well,
a cupcake, yeah, but not the
so
heavy
okay,
stuff.
Az, you said you don't like Guinness. I can understand not liking just straight Guinness. Have you done car bombs? Have you done Irish car bombs?
Oh jeez.
You don't like straight Guinness, you're not going to like a car bomb.
No, car bombs are great.
I haven't had one of those. No.
How to make a worse thing worse? Come on.
How to make how to make a thing more
recently.
college.
That was fun.
Talking about
like,
Jaeger bombs, yeah.
You don't like drinking crude oil? What if I curdle it for you, and then you have to drink it really fast?
Oh no, I don't mind drinking oil, but yeah, drinking oil's okay. But
I did see him do that a couple times when he was really far gone in Barcelona. Just walked up to a Vespa on the road.
Yeah. Literally nozzle in the mouth like way. Lovely.
Hilarious.
But yeah.
I gotta see it now. If we go and visit Bill in the distant land of Canada this year, we gotta get asked to do an Irish car bomb and see.
Of oil.
Oh boy.
And I want to record it. I want to see his reaction. That's so good.
Okay, Az drinks oil in 2024 for a spoiler card. Here we go.
It's just Guinness. It's not that bad.
Yeah. Oh no, I thought it was talking about drinking oil.
No.
No.
Not gonna make you drink oil. You just have to drink Everclear. Don't worry about it. It's fine.
Yeah.
There's God, this just reminded me of just college. There's some really good drinks and there's some really bad drinks. And there was one drink that I think we called it the coffin or something like that involved Everclear. Would not recommend it. It's just drinking like basically paint thinner, but you know,
moonshine.
Really? You wouldn't recommend it.
No, but what I would recommend is something that we call the Incredible Hulk, which is like baller. So what you do is you mix Hennessy and Blue Hypnotic, and it turns green.
Oh God.
And is delicious. It actually tastes really good.
God.
Oh, it can't be as bad as that blue stuff we had in Barcelona. Fuck me, that was horrible.
Oh my God, that stuff was so weird.
That was horrible.
It was. I forget what it was. It was a Moscato.
Oh, like
That's like
Moscato.
€2.
Some Moscato is like it's like a wine.
Oh, is that wine thing? That
Yeah, it's like a really sweet wine, except it was €2, and it was the €2est thing I've ever drank in my entire life.
Like,
it was like a full bottle.
I was gonna say if you drink sweet wine, like sangria is pretty good.
Yeah, no, I prefer sweeter drinks anyway, but yeah, this stuff was not good. It was blue and it was blue.
There is a I say a scene, but it's more like a vlog. But there is a moment on the vlog when you're drinking it, and you was like, "Yep, this is definitely €2. It's definitely €2."
That's good.
Good stuff.
Yeah, it was phenomenal. But yeah. Anyway,
that's it. Yeah,
I think that just about wraps us up.
I think so.
How
long have we been going this time?
It's about a normal podcast episode. Actually, it's about an hour 44. It's pretty close.
Okay, not bad.
I bet if you averaged all the podcasts, it'd be about this length.
I reckon so, yeah.
Well, did anyone else have a Arsenal? Iain, did you have an Arsenal that you want to talk about before we bail?
Kind of. And it's kind of more like a question to you guys and stuff as well. It's was what are you looking forward to in 2024? And for me, one of the things that has changed for me, obviously, I'm no longer able to play competitive tournaments as part of my contract. So I'm looking at different. I'm looking at different ways to play Fab, but also looking at other games and stuff as well to sort of scratch their itch. And one of the things that Cal and I and DM Amada have loosely talked about is the possibility of maybe going to Gen Con this year.
Oh, yeah.
Gen Con
Yeah.
in August in Indianapolis. I used to pre-pandemic. I used to go to Gen Con quite frequently. And that's something that is on my 2024 wish list to possibly get back there. Shout out to the SRG universe if any of our Super Show fans are watching, because I know there is a crossover between Fab and some SRG players. So possibly maybe heading up Gen Con 2024. That's what I'm looking forward to.
Yeah.
How about you guys?
I want to point out Joshua Scott in chat. How's it going, Josh?
Yeah,
Or Joshua?
I was about to say, is that Joshua Scott? Joshua Scott?
Pretty sure.
Happy holidays, team.
Happy holidays.
Hope you're doing well, mate.
Yeah,
I think we're just wrapping up. But thanks for popping by, Josh. What time is it in? And what time is it in New Zealand now, Ian?
Well, it's still like
it is
before noon,
10
right?
to 1.
Yeah.
10 to 1.
Yeah, it's 10
okay.
10 to 1 on Saturday.
A truly global podcast today. We've got Great Britain, we've got Canada, USA, and New Zealand.
Yeah.
The old job.
So we're talking about Guardian says, let me know if you go. I might be there. I assume they're talking about Gen Con. I think I very much, like Ian alluded to, I very much want to go to Gen Con. I've never been, and it's one of those things that I would very much like to go to, especially now that E3 doesn't exist anymore. That was one of the things that was announced this year, that E3 is officially gone, doesn't exist. So Gen Con is something that I'd very much like to go to. I think it'd be a lot of fun, and
it's a good time. Yeah, it's a good time.
Yeah.
And I would love to go to
the idea that you get to try out new stuff as well. It's like as well as games that are already existing, having big stuff there. It is a big, this is what's coming out type party, which is really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a big thing which over this side of the world is called Essenspiel, which is something I've always wanted to go to.
I always wanted to go to. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I'm a massive fan of, not only Flesh and Blood, but obviously other things as well. And board games are a massive thing that I like. I've got a huge shelf of board games. And I imagine Gen Con is similar presence with board games and board games being tested.
Absolutely.
And, all that sort of stuff. So, yeah, I'd love to go something like that. But I think probably more realistic for me, depending on time and traveling, that is probably Essenspiel is probably the most likely one sort of gaming convention that I could go to. But yeah, Gen Con would be sick as well. Absolutely.
Yeah, there's like a very good chance I go, especially if Ian goes or
where is it?
Or Steven.
Oh, you just said Indianapolis.
Indianapolis. Yeah.
Like
and they basically take over downtown Indianapolis for the 4 days. It's sick.
Just nerd city.
Like there's I'm definitely going to like planning things out wise for next year. Obviously, I'm going to Japan. But other than that, I do have some other plans that I also can't talk about quite yet. But other than that, I would like to go to Gen Con. And possibly if we can all swing it, maybe finally go visit Bill in Canada. Depending on how everything's going with you guys. But those are kind of like my rough plans.
It'd also depends where Flesh and Blood Worlds is going to be this year. I don't know, obviously, where that's going to be, but it's always something that it's nice that they have the roadmap where we know it's going to be November the majority of the time. By the looks of it, it looks like it's going to be November. So at least you can save. I think you said this in a video as well. Kelv for Shadowverse at least is that you know when the event's going to be, so you can actually save holiday if you do work in an office. You can save holiday for it for that time at least, so you know a general time of when it's going to be, which is nice. But yeah, hopefully to go to that next year as well. All the worlds have been great so far, so
yeah.
We will see.
Anything you're looking forward to, Bill, next year?
I mean, I have a lot of trips planned, actually, more than I anticipated that I would. Because in January, my family and my girlfriend and I are going on a cruise to Mexico.
Ooh.
Yeah, we might have to figure out what's going on with the podcast for that. I mean, we will have to figure something out because I won't be here. But yeah, we got that, and then I'm going to Chicago in February. For a Magic event of all things.
Nice.
And then I feel like I have something else. I feel like I have something else going on in like March and April. In April, we're having people over. Like we're inviting out Ben Wheeler and a few other people. I don't know if this is public or not, but whatever. This is it's fine. We're inviting some amount of people. I don't know if it's set in stone yet, so don't hang your hat on it. But in April, we're planning on having some more people out for the main Spike Feeders channel and filming some stuff with them. It's my turn to be what's his name, Tom Holland of the Spike Feeders and just spoiling all of our cool.
Can't take him anywhere. He just spoils all the Spike Feeders exclusives.
It's fine. But yeah, so really looking forward to that as well because there's also an AEW event, which is Canadian wrestling, basically like WWE, that I'm going to with some friends also in April. So that's going to be a good time too.
Nice.
Stacks
years going on.
Whereabouts is the AEW event?
It is in Winnipeg, as far as I'm aware.
Nice.
Winnipeg, April 10th.
Yeah, I mean, like
it's in Winnipeg. So
I also am
wrestling in Canada is very high on my bucket list of things that I haven't done yet that I really want to do. I mean, I've been to a WrestleMania. I've watched wrestling in a lot of different places, but like Canada, like growing up, huge Hitman fan, huge guy that doesn't get talked about anymore because of what happened outside of the ring fan. But yeah, no, I'd love to watch some pro wrestling in Canada.
Hell yeah! Well, April 10th.
Nice.
Yeah, but yeah, so I have quite a few things. I think I've already made plans as well to go to like a big fancy whiskey tasting in. I think that's what I'm having in March. So yeah, like 2024, the first like half of it at least, I already have like a bunch of plans.
Yeah.
So
I feel you, because like I didn't mention this either, but I will be going to the Los Angeles Last Chance qualifier for Shadowverse Evolve on January 20th, I think, as well. So I'm going to that on January 20th, and that's something that Bushiroad invited me to. So I will have a fancy little press badge and all this stuff. And then like a couple weeks later is when I go to Japan. And then when I get back from that, I think I also have a thing happening in March. Is it March? Or is it May? It might be May. It's one of the M months, all right? I have another thing that I'm traveling to in one of the M months. I am going to, this is something I have publicly stated. I am going to Grand Archive Worlds in Las Vegas. So I'm definitely going to that as well. Those are the things I have planned. And plus also maybe Gen Con, like Iain said. Yep.
Yeah, that could be good.
I think it'll be fun.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure whether I mentioned. I probably did already, but yeah, next year I'm also going to Hartford. I did mention that already, but that's another thing that I'm doing early next year. So that's for the calling, and that's Heavy Hitters Weekend as well. So that should be fun. So I'll meet a lot of the East Coast USA that I haven't met yet, like Tommy Fresh and Banish Zone, and lots of cool people. Flesh and Pod. But yeah, it's going to be lots of drinking. I hope you can all keep up with me. I doubt that you can, but that's a challenge that I'm putting out now in public.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not a great guidepost for that, but I don't know of a single person that could keep up with Az, at least the way that I saw him in Barcelona. So
All right, Az.
Yeah.
Next
We'll see.
time.
I know
next,
a guy. I know
know
a
a guy.
guy. Guy
Not
who
you.
plays Bravo. No, not me.
Oh, is it
Guy who
Kale?
plays
Is it
Bravo.
Kale?
Yeah. You and Kale would have he would
let's
introduce you introduce you to Cody's, which pre-mixed bourbon and Coke. As he says, it's what does he call it? A lawsuit in a can.
A loss.
Oh,
in a
lovely old
can.
job. I love that description. That's right up my street.
oh,
Give
God.
it to me.
No, don't do it. Don't
Don't do it.
unleash Az.
Don't unleash him. We don't need to control him. We need to unleash him. That's a quote from Troy, if you know that film. But anyway, yeah, I don't know where I was going with that. You about to say something, Kel? Next time we meet, we'll get on it.
Yeah.
Going to say something like that.
Yeah, some of that effect. I don't drink a lot much these days, but I'm one of those folks that it takes a lot to get me drunk. But when we used to drink in college, I would have to take like 2 or 3 shots before we started drinking. Otherwise, dude, beer does nothing to me. I could drink like a whole pitcher of it, and I have.
I think that's more a statement on American beer more than anything, though.
I drink like when we were doing another live stream, the cider that I have is like 9% alcohol. It's not like weak stuff. At least the Portland.
Yeah.
Portland's got
cider.
Portland's got good stuff.
Again, it's the joke about Budweiser, right?
Oh
but,
yeah. Well, see,
what?
I live in Portland, so I drink only hipster beer. I don't drink Budweiser or Coors. I drink like local, craft beers. I say that jokingly, but it's also true. I do. Anytime if I'm going to buy a beer, I buy just whatever random local one. I've been drinking more hazies, like hazy IPAs. Pretty good, but especially the ones that are like infused with like a little bit of like fruit, like a little fruit infusion. I don't know, that's pretty good. Yeah.
Every time you start talking like this, all I can think of is the Portlandia put a bird on it skit.
Oh yeah. I just hear Portlandia and I just think of the dream of the 90s is alive in Portland.
I haven't clowned in years.
Yeah. It's truer than you would think, but also kind of exaggerated, but also still kind of not exaggerated. There's a lot of just like boring normal crap in Portland, and then you see the weird stuff. Occasionally you see someone with like a car that has like a million plastic squirrels like glued to it or something, and you're like, what the hell? Like, and then it's just like normal stuff, and then once you'll see another weird thing, Yeah. As that's not ASMR, he's talking to his dog.
Yeah.
As has a dog.
You guys carry on. I think we're pretty much wrapping up anyway.
But... Yeah. Well, I think it probably is a good time to wrap up.
Yeah. No, this was a fantastic time. Thanks everybody that is still hanging out with us.
Yeah, shout out to the latecomers to the chat. We have Goblin Reserve, Yellow Pitch Stack. Hello. If you'd like to listen back, this will be available very soon. You can just
Yeah, so everyone who's joining now or in the future, you can listen to this back. Yeah, it's been a good time so far. It's definitely
a lot of constructive, heavy competitive themes talked about. Really improve your flesh and blood game.
Just like every other Living Legends podcast, what everyone has come to know this podcast for, the nuts and bolts, improving your competitive grind set mindset.
Honestly, yeah, whoever is the first one to transcribe this and ship it off to the greater the greater flesh and blood community to make sure that they get all of our thoughts as written out as possible.
To be serious though, like thank you all for joining us.
Of course, yeah.
The Living Legends podcast. I think it's like one of the core tenets is like this is a podcast that we want to be approachable for every Flesh and Blood player. If you're a competitive player, if you're a new player, if you only play UPF every month or whatever, like no matter who you are, if you like Flesh and Blood, we want to have a podcast where you can come and hang out with us and just, engage in chat, which is why, when we get guests on like Joshua Scott in chat, that we try to gear it for everyone. Same with, Brian Gottlieb and, all the guests that we have. So thank you all for being here. We still have like one more episode this year, but it's been an awesome year for the Living Legends and for Flesh and Blood, and we got a whole nother year ahead of us. I think this is episode. Is this actually just episode like 80 right now? I can't remember what this one actually is, but it's pretty close to 80. So we're getting to 100.
It's a lot. I know that one for a fact. This is we have a lot of episodes.
We got to do something cool for 100. Yeah.
See if we can finally get James White on for 100.
I'll try. We'll try.
Just try our best.
Cool. Well, until next time, folks.
Yeah.
Yes.
Anyway,
let's
have a great night, everybody.
Yeah. If you are still watching, do you want to do our shill before we leave?
Oh, yeah.
Iain, you are our guest and also the fourth unofficial member of the podcast. Where can everyone find you, other than in the basement of LSS?
You won't be able to find me there, I tell you that much. Locked down. No, you can find me at Right Time Gaming on YouTube and Facebook, and Right Time G on X, formerly Twitter, just because they wouldn't let me have my full name on that.
Yeah. I will say, Iain and I are going to be doing, this is not Flesh and Blood related, but Iain and I are going to be doing some universes stuff in like January. So
yes,
they
just got an email that is en route. Also, Cal and I will be doing some Super Show at some point very soon as well.
Actually, yeah. The universe stuff might be exciting to some old school anime fans because it is Cowboy Bebop and Trigun, and I'm pretty stoked for those. Ooh. So we're gonna be doing some Cowboy Bebop and Trigun stuff, which is gonna be great.
Very nice.
Yeah.
That's me.
How about you, Bill?
I am Bill from the Spike Feeders. You can find me on YouTube at the Spike Feeders FAB. We do live edited gameplay content, and as we kind of mentioned earlier, there was a video that we recently put out on our main channel of us playing Round the Table UPF. So if that's something that interests you, live edited UPF action, then definitely go check that out because it was a lot of fun for us to make. You can also find me on X, Twitter, whatever, at BillTSF, and other social medias at BillTSF as well.
Hell yeah, brother. And then, where might the lovely folks find you?
Swindon Town, UK.
Don't go there.
go
Also,
there.
As called it before, the butthole of the UK, or
that's right.
What? And then you said like the study was like the worst place to
the worst place for a night out.
Yeah.
Not sure whether we'll ever get sort of battle hardened here, but luckily, if you're from Swindon, you're battle hardened anyway. Very much like Scotland, to be honest.
Flesh and Blood World, Swindon.
Flesh and Blood World, Swindon, UK, Wiltshire. But yeah, so I'm Az from Go Again Gaming. You can find me on Go Again Gaming on YouTube, and recently did an Azalea Cult episode with Stefano, who that's the most recent episode on there. And as I said earlier, I'm going to be doing a Christmas Day live stream. So if you want to pop into to that, I'll be drinking heavily as YouTube promotes that really well. So yeah, that'll be a nice little night, and that's pretty much it really. And then on Twitter, it's Go Again Gaming AZ as well, where you can follow my string of thoughts. Well, I do post on there quite a lot recently. So yeah, if you want to follow the raw thoughts, that's where you can go for that. That's it really.
Yeah, and then
thanks for hanging out with us.
Last and surely least, I'm Kel, also known as Red Zone Rogue. You're already here if you're listening, so hello. Or you could be listening on the audio only, but you can find me everywhere at Red Zone Rogue. And I do weekly Flesh and Blood Grand Archive and Shadowverse Evolve content, as well as some other random stuff as well. Because I love card games, and I like to talk about lots of card games. So, yeah. Thanks for watching, everyone.
Absolutely.
Happy holidays. Bye.
Happy holidays.
Happy
my mic.
holidays.
Sean!
Oh, the weather outside is frightening.
The weather out.